Good morning, students. In the previous lecture of the hydrocarbon, we discussed about the physical properties of the alkane. After that, we discussed about some of the chemical reaction of the alkanes among them. The first one was the substitution reaction. Among the substitution reaction, only halogenation was included in the syllabus. After that, we discussed about the combustion reaction. After the combustion reaction, we discussed about the controlled oxidation of alkane compounds. And after that, at the last, we discussed about isomerization of the alkane compounds. But that was not all for the chemical properties of the alkane. Right now, we have three more properties of the alkane, which is included in the chemical properties of alkane. Among them, let's continue our journey in the chemical properties of the alkane. The fifth property is called aromatization. First of all, aromatization is most IMP, most important question for your 12th as well as the 11th exams also. Okay, what we are going to do in the aromatization, it is quite simple, because we are simply going to use a open chain compound normal hexane, and we are going to convert it into the benzene, in the sense aromatic compound. It is quite simple. We have to use either Cr2O3 or V2O5 or MO2O3, in the sense chromium trioxide, vanadium pentoxide, or else molybdenum oxide. Among these three, you have to use any one of them at 773 Kelvin temperature and 10 to 20 atmosphere pressure. Okay, first of all, this is not a cyclic compound, this is open compound. You can see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. I just have written it in a different manner, that's all. But it is continuous chain, open chain, because there is no bond over here. So it is an open chain compound. It is containing of 6 carbon. It is containing of all the single bonds. That's why it is normal hexane. When normal hexane is at 773 Kelvin temperature on the surface of either one of them, V2O5, Cr2O3 or MO2O3 at 10 to 20 atmospheric pressure, after some amount of time, it is going to convert it into the cyclic compound benzene, aromatic compound benzene. You know that benzene have two different structures, two resonance structures. Now, the most important thing over here, we are losing hydrogen from every single carbon. From the end carbon, we are using 2 and 2, total 4 hydrogens. And from the middle carbons, we are removing 1 hydrogen. So total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Total 8 hydrogens has been eliminated from this reaction. That's why -4 H2. This reaction is also known as a dehydrogenation reaction, because we are removing hydrogen from this. So this carbon will release 2 hydrogen, this carbon will release 2 hydrogen, and other 4 carbons will release 1, 1, 1 and 1 hydrogen. So you can say that total 8 hydrogen has been eliminated, and the formula of benzene will be C6H6. Quite simple, right? Remember these conditions. It will be useful for organic conversion in the 12th also. Now, what if I want to prepare toluene? What if I want to prepare toluene? So first of all, the formula of the toluene. A benzene ring will be necessary, and upon that there will be one substituted group methyl instead of hydrogen, that is known as a toluene. What if I want to prepare toluene using this method? What I have to use? You know that toluene is containing of benzene. That's why for the preparation of benzene, this chain is necessary. For the preparation of benzene, we have to use this chain. So let's use that chain. CH3, CH2, 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 and finally CH3. 6 carbons. In the presence of V2O5, any one of them, 773 Kelvin temperature and 10 to 20 atmospheric pressure, it will be converted into benzene, not the toluene. But for the toluene, we have to add one more carbon. Okay, let's add it. So one hydrogen is eliminated and one more carbon has been added. Now, let's guess the name of this compound. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 carbons are there. That's why it is normal heptane. Instead of normal heptane, can we use any other compound? Yes. If we remove the position of this CH3 to any other carbon, suppose we have placed that carbon on the second carbon. Now the name will be of this compound. Find out the longest chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 carbons. On the second carbon, there is a methyl group. That's why the name will be 2-methyl hexane. Is there any other compound? Yes. Just use a different position for the CH3. Okay. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. On the third carbon, there is a methyl group. That's why 3-methyl hexane. Okay. Why these all compounds are useful to prepare toluene? Because this 6 carbon is bind to form benzene, but a branch, doesn't matter it is on the first carbon, second carbon, third carbon, it doesn't matter the branch is on which carbon, it will be always on the top of the benzene, and that carbon will be the first carbon, and it will always give us toluene. Doesn't matter we take normal heptane, doesn't matter we take 2-methyl hexane or 3-methyl hexane. These two are the isomers of heptane also. These three are isomer of each other. Branch isomerism. Okay. What if we put CH3 over here? Then number will be 1, 2, 3, and 4 from here. And from here 1, 2, and 3. It will give the same compound 3-methyl hexane. If we put methyl group over here, it will be 2-methyl hexane. It is already here. So we can use these 3 compounds to prepare toluene using the method given in the aromatization. This is useful for your JEE and NEET. This can be more difficult also. What if I put down one CH3 over here, or over here, or over here? We can prepare it using this method. It is quite simple always. You have to just think about the CH3 group where you are going to put it down, and answer will be on your steps. Use this concept. There are many type of questions are given in the reference books also. So this will be useful for your future. Now, our next reaction is reaction of alkanes with the steam. Okay, what type of reaction alkane gives us with the steam, or you can say vapor of the water vapor? Simply, if we take a methane and water vapor, both are gases. Methane, when reacts with the water vapor on the surface of nickel catalyst at 1273 Kelvin temperature, it will give us water gas. Water gas is a mixture of carbon monoxide and hydrogen. It will give us mixture of carbon monoxide and hydrogen gas, which is known as a water gas. So carbon will eliminate all the hydrogen and oxygen will take place. Carbon double bond oxygen will give me carbon triple bond oxygen will give me carbon monoxide, and total amount of 3 mole of H2 gas will be released. It was quite simple. It can be asked for 1 marker questions as how can we prepare water gas from methane? So you have to write this reaction. After that, our last chemical property of the alkane is pyrolysis. Okay, what is pyrolysis? Pyrolysis is also known as a thermal decomposition. Thermal decomposition. We have to decompose, or you have to break thermally a long chain alkanes. Long chain alkanes are mostly considered into the oils, petrol, kerosene, diesel. They have mainly at least 8 to 12 carbon chains in them. So, what is the method for the pyrolysis? It is quite simple. For example, we have taken normal hexane over here, C6H14, and we are just going to heat it up to 773 Kelvin temperature. Then it will be converted into many different possibilities. But how can we derive that possibilities? Let's see that. 6 carbon. A first possibility will be only H2 is released and hexane converted into hexene. So hexene plus hydrogen gas. Second possibility will be 4-2 split. 4-2 split. The lesser carbon will be alkane, higher carbon will be alkene. So 4-2 split. 4 will be butene and 2 will be ethane, because lower will be alkane, higher will be alkene. Or else it will be 3-2-1 split. It will be 3-2-1 split. If there is a 3-2-1 split, lesser one will be the alkane, so CH4, and higher both of them will be the alkene, so ethene and propene. So because of pyrolysis of normal hexane, we have a mixture of total 7 different products. Hydrogen gas will be there, methane will be there, ethane will be there, ethene will be there, propene will be there, butene will be there, and hexane will be also available. By just heating normal hexane up to the 773 Kelvin temperature. We are not using any type of catalyst over here. That's why it is thermal pyrolysis. If we use any type of catalyst, that will be catalytical pyrolysis. And in the catalytical pyrolysis, the outcome will be opposite. Here, we are giving alkane to the lower amount of carbons. But In a catalytical pyrolysis, alkane will be given to the higher amount of carbons. You can see that over here. I have taken a constituent compound of the kerosene, dodecane. In the kerosene, a main compound is C12H6, dodecane. You know the decane. Decane is C10 compound. But dodecane is the name of 12 carbon containing compound. When it is going to be undergo in the catalytical pyrolysis. Catalytical means we have to use catalyst like platinum, palladium or nickel. You can use any one of them and you have to heat it up to 973 Kelvin temperature. A 7-5 split will be there. The lowest will be alkene and higher will be the alkane, the opposite of this rule. So C7H16 will be our heptane and C5H10 will be our pentane. And likewise hexane, there will be many different other formulas and many different other names will be also there. Many other different products will be also there. But the major product will be these two. Pyrolysis is major used into converting a long chain carbon compound to the shorter one. In the sense, if I want to obtain petrol gas from petrol, I am going to pyrolyte the petrol or oil. So that was the use of pyrolysis. And here all the chemical reaction, all the chemical properties of alkane has been completed. Now you have to write it down. So I think you have written it down. If you do not have, please backward the video and write it down, because this space will be useful for conformers. Our next topic is the conformers, a new type of isomerism that we do not have touched yet. So what is conformers? Before we start conformers, let's recall the structure of alkane. What is the structure of alkane? Structure of alkane. It is tridimensional. As we know, it is 3D compound. For methane, we know that the structure will be like this something. In the sense, it is a tetragonal structure and 3-dimensional structure for the methane. So we know that alkane have 3-dimensional structures and all the carbon-carbon bond are single bonds. Now, let's give it a rest and take an example so that we can understand conformers better. Okay. Right now, I have one data cable here with me. Suppose this is the first carbon and this is the second carbon. So, carbon-carbon single bond. This is my single bond. Carbon-carbon single bond. Okay. Now, electron distribution is equal throughout the bond. There is nothing between these two carbon which is going to define a difference of electron density. That means this carbon have suppose 3 times electrons, then this carbon will also have 3 times electron. Means homologous electron distribution, homogeneous electron distribution is there in this bond. So when I am going to rotate this bond, electron distribution is not going to be disturbed. I am just rotating it. So it is not going to disturb the electron distribution. I do not have shortened the bond or I do not have lengthened the bond. But this is simply going to rotate on its position only. I haven't changed the bond length or bond angle, I have just rotated the bond. And because of this rotation, the spatial arrangement of hydrogens will be different. Spatial arrangement of hydrogen will be different. Okay. Now rotation will be there and electron distribution will be undisturbed. That was the simple principle of this cable. Okay. Now let's talk about the spatial arrangement. Suppose this is the carbon and these are the three hydrogens. And now over here, another carbon and three hydrogens. Okay. Suppose I rotate this bond, you can see the position of these three hydrogens are going to be different in the 3 dimension. So if I move this as a 1 degree, a different position 1 degree, different position 1 degree, different position 1 degree, different position. So there will be infinite possible structures, infinite possible conformers of the compound. All of them are different, yet all of them are similar. Why? Because when we rotate the bond, we will need energy to rotate the bond. When we rotate the bond, we will need energy to rotate the bond. And that energy is very less. 1 to 20 kilojoule per mole energy is required, which is a quite smaller number. If we do something like this exercise have more energy than the rotation of the carbon-carbon bond. That means we cannot separate these conformers. They are going to be one. From this infinite number of conformers, we are going to study only three main conformers: eclipsed, staggered, and the last one skew. Eclipsed, staggered, skew. Okay. Now, as I told you, this is the representation, right? But we have to draw some type of representation for the understanding on the board also. So let's draw that. Suppose I have one football. Suppose this is my football. This is the football. Okay, imagine that. And one tennis ball. This is my tennis ball. Both of them are carbon. So this is my tennis ball and this is my football. Tennis ball and football. A single bond. Okay. Now imagine like this. So what will you see? A football and a tennis ball, right? So a football and a tennis ball. Okay. Actually they are like this. A tennis ball and a football. Okay. Now the bonds of the tennis ball. 3 hydrogens will be there. We are drawing the possible structure for the conformer of the ethane. So ethane have 2 carbons, 1 and 2nd. The first carbon is the football, second one is the tennis ball. Now, hydrogen, position of the hydrogen. First hydrogen, second hydrogen and third hydrogen from the tennis ball. Now the position of hydrogen of the football, the behind carbon. So, the first hydrogen, second hydrogen and the third hydrogen. Okay. Now let's talk about this. Suppose the tennis ball have something like this, hydrogens. Okay. Now, hydrogens of the football will be just like this. You can see that it is overlapping each other. The position of the hydrogens are overlapping each other. That's why this position is known as a eclipsed position. Now rotate the bond. If you rotate this bond, the position of football will be changed, means this hydrogen will be changed. Okay, the rotation of how much angle? This is 360 angle, and we have divided that into 3 parts. So every single part contains 120 degree. So just to the half, so 60 degree rotation will be there. Let's do this. Our football and a tennis ball. Okay, now the rotation. Okay, the first carbon compound will be as it is, the first carbon hydrogen will be as it is. The rotated hydrogens up to 60 degree will be something like this, completely at a different angle from the eclipsed. They are max possibly away from each other. That's why this form is known as a staggered form, and any other form rather than these two are known as a skew form. There are infinite forms because you can move it just like a 1 degree angle. It will be different. So there are infinite possibilities for the conformers. Among them, 3 are the mains: eclipsed, staggered, and the skew. Okay. This projection is known as a Newman projection. Now let's talk about another Sohor's projection. It is quite simple. He just simply used the different type of representation, nothing else. This is the carbon-carbon bond, 3 hydrogens and 3 hydrogens. This is same. That's why it is eclipsed form. And over here, look at this, totally opposite. That's why it is staggered form. This is Sohor's projection. Okay. The hydrogens are at 120 degree. You can see that in both the structures. Now this rotation is simply known as a torsional angle, or you can say angle of torsion, dihedral angle or angle of rotation. 3 different names are available. First name will be angle of rotation, angle of torsion, or you can say dihedral torsion, or sorry, dihedral angle. 3 different names are there. You can use any one of them for the angle. Now a new word has been emerged, torsion. What is torsion? Torsion means proper word will be like repulsion. Okay, let me explain this. Look at the eclipsed conformer. Over here, the electron of carbon hydrogen bond, carbon carbon bond is just aligned, in the sense they are close to each other. Because of that, the electron cloud will feel maximum number of repulsion. That's why this repulsion, because of this repulsion, a torsional force arises, and that torsional force just move this up to certain angle, so that torsion will be removed, repulsion will be removed, and that angle is known as the angle of torsion. So eclipsed is least stable because of repulsion of electron cloud, and staggered is the most stable because the electron cloud have been possibly different position. Now, what is the energy difference? What is the torsion energy required for conversion of eclipse to staggered and staggered to eclipse? It is 12.5 kilojoule per mole only. A very less amount of energy will be required to convert eclipsed into staggered and staggered into the eclipsed form. So that was all about the conformers. Conformers have one more name. It is also known as the rotamers. In your textbook, they have given definition of the eclipsed conformer, rotamers, staggered rotamers, skew rotamers, and definition for torsional stress as well as rotamers definition is also available. So now in today's lecture, you have to write down the homework from aromatization to the stability of conformers for 2 times. That was all for the today's lecture. In the next lecture, we are going to start our next hydrocarbon alkene. So that was all for the today's lecture. Thank you so much.